Welcome back to Dungeons and Designers. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, which I feel like I've been saying every episode, but today we're going to do a little bit of like state of the game. Everyone who's listening to this on iTunes or Spotify, you guys are going to get a highly edited and shortened version, but everyone over on our Patreon will get the full unedited conversation where we kind of give you all the behind the scenes nitty gritty. But we're doing this because our campaign is kind of at a turning point where so far there's been a lot of kind of just like free options and free range and you guys kind of do whatever you want. But now you're at a point where you've joined the Drow gang, kind of, maybe not officially, but you're kind of under them. And that means that there's a time now where there'll be kind of a patron, which I believe they explain in one of the recent books, is like a character who will give you missions and kind of help guide your story so that you guys can be creative in other ways. We saw that kind of 2 episodes ago. We were like, what do you guys want to do? Here's some job boards, here's some planets, and then here's a GPS. And there was kind of like a hard time of like, what do we want to do? This will help kind of remove that a little bit and keep it more story driven, kind of like the first campaign. But before we do all that, I want to take a time where we can all kind of interject our ideas, what we think our strengths have been so far, what we would like to see different, and maybe even like what are our goals for our characters. And with all that, we can kind of start planning for the future a little bit better. And then I've got some ideas that I want to share with you guys that would be possibly drastic changes. And we can like all together talk about that as a group. So I don't know who wants to start it off, but I would love to start it with just like the feedback portion. And for most episodes, I'm the one doing the heavy lifting on the talking. And I would love to allow you guys to do some of the heavy lifting this week where you can tell me what you guys want out of this campaign and game, and then I can share a little bit of what like I'm hoping to get out of it. So who would want to go first? Any takers?
Sure. I'm Zach. Hi, everybody. I play Wick, the Kinku. Where to begin? I want a continued and more thoroughly fleshed out galaxy. And that's not a criticism or anything. No. I'm just excited to see how much bigger this is. Because at every turn and every step, every non-playable character we've met, even like our guest and what you fed them, there's such a scope and magnitude to what you and also Dan are building with this universe. And I'm just excited to see that more and more.
So you're kind of here for the ride of seeing different things and maybe experiencing different worlds and keeping that variety up.
Indirectly, also what I feel like Wick is most strongly here for and moving on with. They're slowly becoming not her place in the universe, but maybe her direction and path, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Which is also the very thing she set off running from on Lathander's Ring, which is, how often does that happen? The thing you're running from is probably what you should be headed towards anyway.
Sure. No, I think
that's what. I
think that's all good, and I think that's something that we can definitely work towards. Is now that you have this, you're on the Drow ship. There is like limitless of where you could end up, and doing this kind of mission driven could force you to planets that maybe you wouldn't know to go to, and kind of.
And I think that leads into one of my biggest criticisms so far of this campaign, this season, is, and I'm not, you guys pitch in on this too, just let me know if you disagree completely too, but the lack of clues as to what the next step is, like where Yondala went to. Yeah. If we had like, and I know she's a goddess, she just disappears, what clues would be left? And maybe we didn't investigate enough.
I think there is some of that where, like when you first got to Anadia and you saw like the robot people and all of that, there was no sense of like, we should see if this is normal or like see if this is something that's happening or, and then even the GPS, it wasn't like we should get someone to look into this and see. It was just like, let's go. So I think I can definitely give more clues. But I also think there will have to be times where like you guys spend time seeking out those.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like a all gas no brakes type, like just hand fist straight through everything you like prompt.
One of the biggest improvements I think we've made is in our role playing with each other.
Oh yeah,
which it would just like we're more comfortable with each other and playing in that character space. So we dropped the ball with that part. Like
no, I don't think it's a dropped ball at all, especially coming from our Fairs campaign, where it was like, you don't need a clue. I'm telling you where to go next. Like,
it's very like almost like quasi railroad type situation.
So I think,
which is a lot of time helpful for newer players as well.
Yeah, and I think
I love when you give multiple choice. It's kind of like in between. You're like, oh, here's a job board.
Right.
Or you could do main quest or side quest, like you do the video game thing for us.
Yeah, I think all that we can continue doing.
Didn't mean to stop conversation, but...
No, you're good.
Yeah. I was really impressed with... I'm really enjoying all of your descriptions. And I've had some friends listen to the episodes who say like that is one of their favorite parts of listening to us is hearing you flesh out all the new worlds and places that we're going to in vivid detail. And I keep wondering when I'm going to hit the edges of something that you've prepared and it's not happening. And I'm saying this as a huge compliment to all the preparation that you've been doing for us to be so open world. And I think areas that I want to work on, this is for me more, but I'm excited to potentially develop Capri with you so that if we ever wanted to visit, like what would that look like? Like you'd be playing all the NPCs that I've been talking about.
Maybe I want
in my recaps.
Maybe we would transition to like a co-DM where like you do have to roll some of your family and I can roll some other things. That could be an interesting way of looking at it. We would definitely have to talk more for sure. But like, I don't want to be your aunt or cousin.
No. Yeah, because that's where I want to work on, at least for Peg. Like, I feel like a part of her personality that I'm not bringing through all the way is befriending NPCs. Like, it'd be fun to befriend Ronag or, I don't know, like make a best friend on a new world that we visit. And then the other thing I was thinking that would be cool is to develop the droid more. Like maybe over time they learn like new things, or like how that story development could go. So I guess I'm more interpersonal with this, like trying to develop the role play aspect more of friendships and game.
No, I think all that makes perfect sense. And definitely something I need to work on is looking at like that role playing and less world building or same world building, but more of like what do the characters live like or feel like? That is good feedback.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next place we go. It does feel like every place so far is completely different, and that makes me excited. Yeah. Even
the icy VR world was totally different. Good job, Dan. That was good.
That was a fun episode.
You guys have some more thoughts you can throw in?
I guess like what I'm like kind of pumped for is like at least personally and everybody as well, like character development. Being like where my guy kind of originated. He's this very very full of flaws, and then like opening up via like trust and less pride in himself and stuff. I feel over time is kind of like what I've been aiming for. So excited to see where it goes as he kind of slowly becomes more and more of a team player type situation.
Yeah, I think you definitely have a bunch of character development over the past 13 or 14 episodes that has shown through, from Trash Elf to Craig Owner.
We're 14 episodes into this series already.
This will be episode 17, but 16, which came out last week, was you DMing Quest.
Yeah.
Because I missed our last episode's record time.
Hey.
You know.
Yeah. You were only moving and finishing.
You know, life is
minor details.
Accepting a job.
Yeah. So,
I really love the Rosette Gazette.
Yeah,
It's
big
so
fan,
good.
big
First
fan.
First off, we all need a reminder.
Yeah.
But it's a really good, clever way. And to Dan's point, it's a part of the character's flavor that you would not get in a purely combat centric role.
And I remember being like, when Will was talking about this next thing, I was like, hey, we really need to work on, like, I don't know if you want me to like re-listen to the last one or like take notes. I was like, I'm having a really hard time remembering what the heck's going on. He's like, already got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Courtney's gonna do a little podcast thing. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Podcast in a podcast.
Yeah, it's just Inception.
So
Thanks. Yeah, I think those are the parts of the character that I enjoy most. Yeah, I never like dungeon crawls can be fun, but I like, to your point, Dan, like adding all this flavor, and that's like, oh, well, that's your favorite part, or like maybe everybody has their own favorite part of playing the game that we lean into to make our party.
Yeah, and
I do want a heist
Anyway.
episode.
What were you gonna say?
Just one heist episode.
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me, at least playing D&D, is like the best part is always just hanging out with your friends and having like intentional time together. So I think that's like having all these other pieces are branching off of that. Like you find people you actually thoroughly
Yeah, one of the weird things about D&D is this kind of like state of the game. Even if we weren't doing a podcast, we would still be doing something very similar to this, because it's not like Monopoly where like everyone just plays and tries to win. Like you're trying to make everyone happy, and like there are 4 different personalities here, each wanting something different from like a role-playing game. So it's I recommend anyone who's doing this, who's listening to this podcast, if they're going to run D&D, like do a session 0. I think our session 0 could have even been stronger now that I'm learning all of this. But in addition to session 0, like check in. Because a lot of time, like I'm sure you guys have had ideas that you're just not willing or comfortable sharing with me just midweek. So making like a time where it's like, hey, we're going to all be honest with each other and like talk about this right now, I think is super helpful, at least for me. I hope it is for you guys. So
I've even had
No, you go.
in other campaigns I've played, I've even had people where it's just like the DM's like, I need to take like 2 to 4 sessions off. Like, let's go do a mini camp, which we've done one-offs here and there, depending on scheduling stuff. But it's very much like I just need a hard reset. I need to like come at this and rethink this, and then like let's dialogue a bit about
get ready for my next point in about 15 minutes. No, it's good. I think I've got some good ideas. But the next thing I would love for us to chat about is when we first started talking about this and the idea of being on a ship and being able to like go to different worlds. I had brought up how Mandalorian is edited to almost be different genres in each episode. And like Zach just brought up the idea of this heist. Now that you guys have like a drow group giving you missions, I think we are now at a point where we really can, like each mission can be different genred. So a heist would definitely make sense for them to send you out on, right? Like, hey, we need you to go intercept a ship. We need you to get this stuff. Or I would love to hear like what kind of genres you guys would be interested in. I will be upfront. I am glowing right now. I do not know what's going on.
Yeah, is your window open or something?
No, the window shade is down. It just got really bright. When I was
getting excited about all these changes.
Yeah, it's just
I thought you meant glowing emotionally.
Nope. I mean,
it's like
I looked at.
I gotta go. Actually,
I looked at my video and I had to squint because it's so white. But yeah, I would love to hear like what kind of genres. I'm gonna be open. I can't run romance, so that one's just gonna be like off the table. I know. I'm sorry. I'm just too emotionally weird to be able to do that. So
it's
what
fine. I've been falling in love with Craig every episode.
Dan's bringing his own romance.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, he is.
But heist, I think, is like an Italian Jobs maybe style heist thing could be really fun.
Space Mini Coopers.
Space Mini Coopers. Creature feature.
What's that?
Just like it's like a horror movie, but more about like a weird monster or creature.
Would that be like
the Black Lagoon or whatever that is?
Yeah.
Black Lagoon, yeah.
Would that kind of be like a monster hunt or like a survival or a mixture
Either
of
one.
all of
Dealer's choice.
like that kind of thing though?
Dealer, yeah, just roll a dice.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we were getting roped into with Chorus. Like, there's a monster that's hurting these kids.
Yes.
Like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Are like, well, you brought up Mandalorian, so I'll just mention that
please.
episode because there was one second
Spoiler
season. Well, yeah,
I haven't seen it, so I don't know if I
Here,
need
wait. If you want to hear this spoiler, go to our Patreon. I can't believe, Dan. I can't believe you haven't watched it yet.
All right, so this is the situation, okay? So
I've watched it twice.
I can't remember something like on the week launch type stuff.
It's out.
So then I was waiting for the whole thing, right? And then I put the first one on. I was like playing a game or something while watching it, and the whole episode went through, and I was like, I don't remember anything.
Oh man,
I need to rewatch. And then I was like, all right, I need to sit down and watch this, and I don't really do that with television. So
I love The Mandalorian so much.
yeah, I hear big reviews, and I just I have most. I play stuff as it's B-roll in the background.
Yeah. So the episode Zach brought up, and we won't talk about it anymore. But I believe the director said that was very like horror themed.
Yeah,
and it's a PG-13 show, so it can't be very horror-y, but like like a horror monster kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what like a Monster of the Week, creature feature.
Cool.
It's like a genre of horror movie. So not like a slasher movie or anything, but like we have to go camp out and Space Sasquatch attacks the camp or something.
Yeah.
But that's what I've heard about Mandalorian is kind of also like almost like a Trek type style of like new adventure most weeks type
I get
thing.
that. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think like that's kind of where you're looking at, or maybe it's not every week, but maybe it's like, hey, these 4 episodes are this, and it's kind of how how it's been. It's like, here's episodes on the ship, here's episodes getting off the ship.
The reason, especially now, we're gonna turn more into that is because I watched Mandalorian around the same time we were wrapping up campaign 1. And I just realized like everyone wants something very different. Like Dan, you might enjoy some of that combat a little bit more than someone else. Zach, you might like the mystery stuff. I don't know. Like I'm just like giving out things, right?
Yeah.
But
I think both are accurate.
There's an idea where like if we could split up different groupings, then like someone might just know they're not going to get their itch for a few sessions, but that the next one could be theirs. So I think that's what we're going to try to do. Courtney, do you have a genre that you dig?
Like noir, Sherlock mystery.
Yeah.
If it's like, we come upon the play. I don't know. Yeah, gotta figure out.
I like the idea of mysteries.
Someone died.
Wick or Peg has a jacket that like pops the collar. It's all fog everywhere.
We're going to need to maybe practice some stuff before we do that, because either my things have been too hard or way too easy. And I'm having a hard time figuring out how to do like mystery puzzles. So
it's like, how do I make this dumb enough? And yet
I
not
love
super
puzzles.
dumb? Sometimes you guys love them. Sometimes it makes me feel super bad.
Let's
I
stay on
needed a
this for
visual
second.
aid.
Because in the first season, you threw 4 riddles at us.
Yeah, you
4
guys
like classic traditional riddles. And it took us like 15, 20. I think that's a good time for a puzzle.
I think it could have gone a lot faster if Courtney just said the answers when she had them.
We got that. The puzzle that's stuck in your craw, just that one that's in between your teeth that you can't get it out of it, was a visual puzzle that had no visual elements.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's it. I think if we could have seen,
maybe
and made it, that might have helped a little bit.
There also were some puzzles in the one-off that I did that I just got rid of. I was like, not going to happen. It's just, or like I messaged Will and I was like, this is where it is. Because I was just like, let's keep it going.
I think now that we're using Figma and we're getting more comfortable with that, visual puzzles can become a thing.
Yeah.
We'll have to explain it to our audience better. But we can.
That would be cool though if you had like the map section and then like in one of the hidden areas you like pull that up and like a visual
puzzle.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try stuff like that.
That would be neat. One thing that would help me with puzzles is, and not dumb them down or anything, but if maybe this is what happened in the Ice Cave, if they rely on a lot of heavy D&D knowledge, maybe help me with that a little bit. If that makes sense.
I felt like it was a pattern I couldn't see.
Well, there's also a thing of like
in that one,
especially if you
search the room,
like like classical D&D is very much you go and I search the room, I investigate, I do whatever, and you go, okay, like what do you roll this, and that's like kind of, it's a slower pace, but it is kind of like classically what you do in a dungeon crawl is you're making sure you're checking all your P's
What's
and
the
Q's
text?
before you leave the room.
What are those text-based dungeon crawl games that came out like the 70s on computers?
Just like a text adventure.
Yeah, what are those?
Yeah.
Is that the name of them?
Mhm.
I just
Like
Something,
choose your own
yeah.
turn left,
Yeah.
Yeah.
open door,
Yeah,
open
so-
left door.
But
Mhm.
there's like kind of that classical, like if you like the at least people I play with D&D who played for a long time, it's always the first thing that I search the room.
Right.
Like, and you're like, okay, well, let's investigate that, or let's inspect or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
Which I think
and so I had stuff in there that you guys were just like, I was like, there's a tapestry, and you're like, cool, and you just blew past them. I was like, there is a very important room behind that tapestry. It's like,
I touch it.
all right, we
Oh,
leave.
no.
You're like, we leave. You're like, there is a tapestry. Yeah, we see
exactly. Yeah, go.
it. You're like, we walk into your room. You're like, there's absolutely nothing except one tapestry across the room. Like, oh, that's boring.
sweet.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's got a cool picture.
I
on
just
it.
Yeah, I shut the door, I leave.
Yeah, it doesn't resonate with me because if I'm like a guest in someone's house or like I wouldn't like take art off their wall and like
Yeah.
I touch it, just
own
in it.
everything.
So
Yeah.
I think that's good. We had like the monster, the heist, the noir. Are there any
a
other?
musical.
If someone here wants to make music for an episode, I'm down.
Just straight up Buffy the Vampire musical episode.
Well, we don't want to get taken down.
No.
I don't know. Yeah, and you guys don't have to come up with them now. I know, like, I didn't let you prepare for this conversation at all. So, does anyone else
Yeah.
have any kind of feedback or thoughts or goals that they want to include right now?
No.
what do you guys think of prequels? Or like sometimes I'll hear about other podcasting prequels to like flesh out the character more. And do you think that's necessary, or what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think anything
So
is
no,
necessary.
probably
No, I don't think anything's necessary, but I think it could be cool. They would have to be individually recorded, which
Yeah.
I'm not against. We did something like that last campaign.
It would help
Did
with
this
your
campaign.
NPC problem. Dan and I could play your aunt and cousin.
Do you want a episode about Peg before getting to Lathander's ring?
I think it's interesting to me, but it's not necessary to tell her story.
Why not? I mean, if this
it's-
is again like this
so
is
that's
this is
the only
all
reason
about
for it.
just
Yeah.
wants. So if there is something you
Yeah.
want to do, like we just figure out how to get it figured out. And these type of
Or
episodes,
like it'd be fun to be.
I was just
Oh,
gonna say,
I think there must be a delay.
yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's. I know you're the only person delayed for me. I don't know if you were delayed for everyone else.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. But like those are the type of things. Like I know next week we're gonna have a hard time recording because people are just like traveling and weddings and vacations. So like those individual episodes are great because it could just be like, hey, this week is just going to be an individual, and we don't have to do all three at once. We can just like
Yeah, just throw
salt them
in.
through. Yeah. So I am not against that. If you want, what that does require is a lot on the player. Because I'm not going to come here and try to write your backstories. So it'll almost be more of like a discussion rather than role play.
Yeah, maybe we find some similar
Okay.
talking points
Yeah.
and like stuff that everybody could go through.
I seriously will help with anybody who wants to do an individual back because that sounds incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
I really
I
want to
wanna be
hear
a trash
LSR's.
elf.
LSR's is the
Pledge.
one I'm most interested in. If we did something,
we
like
could
that.
also, if this fits into what you're thinking, like a session where it's just like Elisar gets into a sticky situation on the first ring, or Peg gets in a funny teenage angsty situation on Capri.
I'm thinking of that McGee and Me board game. Sticky
Oh my god,
Situations,
McGee and me! Oh my
where you-
god!
No
Oh,
matter
you-
what
you
the
just lost
option is, you
half
always
the
smoke
crowd.
the cigarette. Yeah,
No, I'm in it to win it.
We're
I
all
could
here.
talk about McGee and me for like another hour and a
it's
half.
like one of the few old school '90s Christian things that weren't a blight on society.
the tornado episode. Oh my
All of them
gosh.
so good.
Corey, I really like the idea of singles, and we'll talk about more what that could
I
look
think
like.
could be cool. Could be
One of
fleshed
them
out
has to
pretty
be
neat.
called Elisar gets stuck in a sticky situation.
That's
It's just
definitely
him stuck in a pile of sticky trash.
he
like,
steps
wow.
in gum or something
Yeah.
on the way to the.
that's how I'm picturing it though. It's either where it's just a discussion between me and the player of like, what does their background look like? What do the people, their parents look like and all that? Or I'm just going to put you in a 90s style sitcom for an episode.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
And,
like, you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like,
Wah, wah.
yeah, like, he's just like, Elisar.
We talked about different genres, and I think 90s sitcom is a genre that we can definitely try out.
We'd
Yeah,
have to figure
like-
out some time to make a good
Soundtrack?
like, intro theme song for it.
Mhm.
Full
Wick,
House-esque.
Wick goes on a job that goes poorly.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Womp, womp.
yeah, like Wick's missed assassination
No.
plot. Like womp womp.
Wake's episode
Like-
would definitely be in the kitchen. It'd just be like ability rolls to like see if you can figure out how to cook.
And try to like not have anyone cut their finger off like in
Yeah.
that first episode.
Or we would just play that cooking game on the Switch and live stream it.
Mama's
Cooking Mama
Yes.
or whatever.
Cooking
Yeah.
Mama.
Yeah, today's
That's-
episode is
yeah, yeah.
Wick cooking and Cookie Mama.
I tried to play that with Jess. It did not work out.
It's just Will and Zach playing Overcooked on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
on
yeah,
Switch.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So does anyone else have any kind of last minutes as we start to wrap this up of like things that you guys want?
I just realized that Will and Zach Wick.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Except Wick is CK and Zach is CH.
I can change Zach.
It's like we'll make it work.
No. This is going to be for all our listeners. Once I accidentally put a K, and you were like, Will, please never, ever do a K again.
It's true. Yeah.
And I,
It is a point of pride. I'm the only Zach with an H that I know because it's a stupid way to spell the name.
well, that's when I said it, I was like, of course it's an H. Like, is Zach with a K even a name? I was like, oh no, wait, that is the normal.
That's yeah. Everyone spells Zachary with an H,
Right.
And then Zach,
Zach
you
with a
switch to
K.
the K.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't.
English, huh?
Yeah.
What a
So I stuck with the H the whole time.
Okay, so these are some things that I want to put out there as like ideas I have for the show, and I want your feedback.
Mhm.
This is not my show, so when I say these things, they're not concrete, right? I want you guys to push back if you think they're bad ideas. So this is what I'm thinking. I am a little concerned. I want time to really come up with what we're doing next. I want, now that I have this patron that will give you missions and we've all talked, I want like a little bit more time where I can plan out kind of a trajectory of like ideas, which I think especially with my thesis, the last like maybe 5 or 6 episodes, it was like every week I was just like, okay, what are we doing? And I think and then on top of that, in about a month, I'm moving again. And then 3 weeks after that, I'm starting a new career as a teacher in a new school that I've never been a part of.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But
Mhm.
what all that means is I'm a little bit worried about my time commitment to being able to write a really good story that's like worthy of your characters, worthy of like the time you've put into yourselves and like actually leading this. So here's my proposal is I'm thinking we pause the podcast for July. We all take our summer break. We bring up some of the old episodes, maybe add a little bit to them. Like we put up Zach's quest, but only a couple episodes for July. We'll pause our Patreon so that people aren't getting charged as we're not really making new content. And then possibly, and this is where I want you guys to like kind of speak to this. In August, I'm thinking that we switch playing from this campaign while I start to learn how to teach again. And we play a pre-made campaign from Wizards of the Coast, possibly Dragon Heist, which is a level 1 through 5 campaign. And the reason I'm saying we play Dragon Heist is I'm playing with a group in Jersey now that I used to play with, and they're playing Dragon Heist. And I just sat down. Dragon Heist is really interesting for a few reasons. One, you're in a city that has laws, so you can't just do whatever. And I think that kind of fits with Peg and Courtney's personality of like, I don't want to just murder everybody. It's like, well, good, because if you do, you will be killed immediately, or there are consequences built in. There's also a really cool idea where there is non-combat story-driven story, like you get an inn and you run an inn in addition to your other jobs and stuff, and figuring out the main goal and the main enemy. There is still combat because it's D&D. But what I'm excited for is seeing how they structure a story so that I can maybe learn. We probably should have started this podcast doing a pre-made campaign so I could learn how to DM. And what I'm thinking is Dragon Heist specifically is a very low needs on my part is so well written.
Mm-hmm.
I can learn how to make a better story. So we could play that 1 through 5 for maybe the rest of the year. And then when I get into a good teaching rhythm and I feel like I have a lot of time I can give, then we just jump right back into Lathander's Ring.
Yeah.
So before, again, this is not like me laying down the law. I would love your thoughts on that plan.
New characters or same characters?
New characters.
Can I bring Hope back?
Bring what back?
I'm going to bring back a tiefling I made for like one episode.
First episode.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Yeah, you guys, it'd be like totally like whatever you guys want to do. Tieflings are a little weird in Waterdeep because they're demons, but we'll hand wave that. We'll just have fun with it.
We'll just have fun with it.
The real question is, when are we having our in-person session?
Maybe next April if COVID doesn't come back, if the Delta strain doesn't get here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fine, Pfizer gang, rise up.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you guys think about, I don't know if you guys have ever looked into Wizard of the Coast products. Dragon Heist is one of the first ones that came out in 5e and is still like one of the highest rated. And the fact that it's only 1 through 5, we can play it for months, but we could also like kind of speed through some of it so that we can get back to our campaign when the time is right.
Yeah. I mean, most
what
of
does
their
1
stuff
through 5 mean?
Level 1,
Sorry.
like
Level 1 through 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, all their stuff is awesome. Most of their stuff is awesome.
I've heard some not so great reviews about the last couple of years, but yeah.
Oh, I haven't really looked at any of the new stuff. So,
but like, so I went and bought a couple months ago for the reason of like I wanted to see how they write stories. I bought Into the Abyss, and that's like sort of like a grim dark. You're in the Underdark. You're criminals breaking out of a prison in the beginning. And I was like, okay, that doesn't probably fit with our party. And then my buddy was like, Dragon Heist is more of like a city. You own it in. There's definitely evil going on, but there's like a big map that you can explore, but you never leave the city. Like there's no reason to. Which is why
I should buy one of these super old books on Shop Goodwill, and we'll just format one into
like a 2e into 5e.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about pausing our story so that I've got time later to like really come up with something that's better than what we've been doing and playing Dragon Heist for now?
Yeah, I mean, I would think it would benefit you settling down, and then also benefit like hopefully the content's a little bit better and more put together.
Yeah.
And then like obviously I'm enjoying the character. I feel like we're still on the ramp up with our characters, so it's a little bit of a bummer to like pause.
I know,
but if it's long term going to be benefiting everybody, I would say it's probably the better choice.
I'm just like, I'm thinking about when we first started, and like the Lathander's Ring, those few episodes felt really thought out and really cool, and then like at Nadia with the festival, like all of that culture felt cool. And I feel like since then, like the story's been going on, I've been enjoying the play. Like I don't think they're as well thought out and developed as they were those first 7 or 8 episodes. And I think a lot of that has to do with like the timeline of my thesis and then moving and then getting a new job, and that's going to continue for at least another next 2 months.
A couple things going on.
I'll tell you this, from my side, I never felt that, but it's valid that you do.
Yeah.
And I want to get to a place where you don't feel like that. My only pushback is, why wouldn't Dragon Heist fit into the current? Maybe they send us to scope out the city and we're on one planet and our ship breaks down and we're stuck there for 5 chapters.
The only pushback on that is it's not science fiction at all. Like it's built specifically not to be.
It's very high fantasy, right?
That's the D&D part I don't know. So I'm with you.
Yeah,
let's do it.
So if anyone doesn't have anything else to add, we'll wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for dealing with our weird schedules so far. And I hope you stick around for us to playing a Dragon Heist or another campaign from Wizards of the Coast. And you can hold on for Lathander's Ring. My name's Will. You can find me at Noble Folk Design.
Yeah. My name's Courtney. You can find me on Instagram at Courtney M. Leach.
I'm Zach. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ZS Wilkinson.
My name's Dan, and you can see me at Daniel Churn at multiple things.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Daniel Churn. Thanks so much. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
That's another episode of Dungeons and Designers. Intro music is by Mon Plaisir. Editing and animation was done by me, your friendly DM, Will. Find this and more in the description.